Hello, my name's David Parfitt and I'd like to welcome you to making a pop-up box for Fabrica.
First of all, you'll need a sheet of ordinary A4 paper. Fold it in half as accurately as you possibly can and crease it. Then with a pencil or pen, mark inside the creases. Then fold it the other way and crease that. Once that's done, fold the ends into the crease so you're dividing that piece of paper that way into 4. Again, mark the creases. You only need to do one edge because we're making a ruler that you're going to use for all the rest. Then take a stiffish piece of card and mark the marks off the ruler onto the long edges, both the same way round, and the short edges, both the same way round. Then choose one of the marks and measure that from the centre on the short edges in both directions, on both ends of the card. There you are. You have 3 marks along each side. Join the marks up with a ruler, being as accurate as you possibly can. This should give you 4 squares in the middle and some rectangles. That's the centre point, mark it, and then draw lines through the corners of the boxes as shown. There's a symmetry to this, so you should be able to tell. Mark the diagonals in half, just a little notch mark so that you can tell where the centre of the line is. Then make a bump and reflect that around this centre so that they're symmetrical. Next we cut all of the corners off of the tabs. All the tabs run down the side of the paper. So each one of those rectangles is a 45-ish degree line marked on it. As you can see, that's the shape, the pattern you should end up with. Then cut the whole thing in half because there are 2 of them on that piece. You should end up with 2 identical shapes. Next, cut out the shape following the lines that you've just drawn. If in doubt, look at the video to see which bits need removing. I'm doing this fairly quickly, but you should take care. So you'll end up with this shape, that sort of shape. Do the other one, because again there are 2 of these, they're identical. There we have both of the pieces. Next, take a sharp knife and score along the leftover lines on the drawing. This should just be enough to let you crease them like this, rather than cutting through them. So score all of those lines around the squares. Don't worry about scoring where the little bumps are that you drew. Then once they're all scored, just start the creases so they're nice and neat. You'll find it all folds up. The diagonal ones where there is no line, where you put the mark in the middle of the thing, you need to fold that by hand the other way to the rest of the scores. So these ones should be folding back on themselves. And once they're folded, give them a good wiggle, just to make sure they're nice and flexible. Then you can pack everything up, and that is one side scored and folded. There's 2 sides. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to put double-sided tape on the tabs. So I've been doing both tabs with one piece of tape. Get it as near to the fold line as you possibly can, and put double-sided tape on the 4 tabs on each of the pieces. Then cut away the extra double-sided tape, leaving just the tape on the tabs, like so. Okay, make sure it's rubbed down. Do both of the pieces the same way. Next, turn one of the pieces upside down, lay it on the other, and line up the squares so that they're exact. Then take the double-sided tape off one end's tabs, fold it very accurately so that it fits over the other. Because there's tape on both sides, they'll stick very easily. And just put a little dot in the middle of that tab and make a hole. You're going to get an elastic band through there later, so make it a fairly big hole. Then align up the squares again and do the same on the other end. Both tabs have their double-sided removed and they're stuck together, like so. You'll find that you've got a tube with 2 little tabs on the inside. And you see the tabs. The other one hasn't got a mark on it, so put the mark on the other tab. And then with the scalpel, it's a bit tricky, but you get in there and you wiggle a little hole. You could use a pin. Then take an elastic band and cut it so you've got an elastic string, and tie a knot in one end. Then with the other longer end, you need to push it through one of the holes you've just made. I used a pencil, just poke it through and pull from the other side. Eventually it'll come through there. Now, so once that's through, your job then is to get the other end through the other hole. This can be a bit tricky, but don't worry, if you compress the box up a little bit, it will recover. Okay, once you've got the second elastic band through, tie a knot, not too tightly in the end. Leave a little bit of room between the two so that when they pull apart, they just put enough pressure on the thing to make it want to spring up like that. Okay, now we work at putting the side tabs in. You can take the double-sided tape off them and tuck them under like so. I put scissors on to weight it down because otherwise it springs all over the place. Do the other tab again, double-sided off. Slide the tab into the box and press it down. That's one side done. Turn it around, turn it over, and do the other side. Same way. Tape off. Slide the tab into the box and press down. There we go. Simple. You may find some of the tape is stuck inside, so clear any stuck in pieces and form the cube. Push the sides in and then flatten it. And there you have it. The cube will pop up from being flattened.
Thanks for watching. You can find out more about our resources on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter on the Fabrica pages.